Oh, this is definitely something I have never done before. So today, I'm gonna be less chatty to the camera and more chatty on a microphone on my computer, because I want to share with you the analytics that I look at that are super important behind my videos. Specifically, I'm gonna be going through the top 3 most popular videos on my channel right now. To give you a quick idea of what we're gonna be looking at, it's not just views, subscribers, watch time, all of that. Like, I'm really gonna breeze over that kind of stuff. The biggest thing is, why did these videos do well? Where did the traffic come from? How are people watching the videos? And how much of the video is being watched? So we're gonna look at traffic sources, audience retention, and a lot of that stuff that actually gives you more of the why that says, okay, somebody was like, I need to watch this video, and why they decided to do it. It's also gonna help you from the perspective of coming up with new ideas for videos. What worked in terms of getting you traffic that could potentially work for something new that you haven't even made yet. So this one's gonna be super nitty-gritty on the computer. Hopefully you're interested in nerding out on that stuff with me. And so let's go over and do that right now. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So we are going to dig in here, but I'm going to scroll down to what we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to be digging into some key analytics you should be paying attention to in my popular uploads. So those 3 videos that we're going to look at are the 3 most popular. How to embed a YouTube video in a PowerPoint presentation, beginner video editing that doesn't suck, and top 5 beginner tips for vlogging with a DSLR. So let's start with the most popular, and that is how to embed a YouTube video in a PowerPoint. I have gone into my YouTube analytics here, and you can see that the name of the video is up top. You can go to any video that you want. You can type it in to find it, so that the analytics your dashboard pulls up are only specific to that video. I have this set on this year, but just to give you a little bit of an idea of what this is looking like on the back end, this is the lifetime of the video. And so what you can see here is there's a very high spike in watch time and views at the beginning, and then it falls down. Well, the reason for that being that it took some time in terms of how much traction it was going to gain from its traffic sources. And this is a really great testament as to why you would post something. And even if it doesn't necessarily do well in the first couple of days, couple of weeks, maybe even couple of years, it could pick up speed later. So always making sure that your headline, your description, your tags, the title being the headline. Obviously, I always say headline. I think it actually says title in that empty spot. And then the thumbnail. All of these things need to be set up for success, because you never know when this momentum could happen. So this is the lifetime of the video. Let's go to just this year, just to give you an idea of how it's doing. This video was literally me needing this tutorial and not finding very many good ones at the time that I made it. And I wanted to make a way better version. And so I customized it to be discovered, and therefore it ended up being discovered. Obviously, taking a look at views and watch time, audience retention, it is not weird for this number to be about 2.5 minutes. It's a 6-minute video, and people are looking for how exactly to do something. So as I'll show you in one of the key metrics, there's probably a little bit of skipping around going here. But another thing I like to look at is, where is it being watched? Obviously, this is very predictable. It's being watched on the YouTube watch page. Why? Because it's mostly being discovered on YouTube. The other way that this could have gone is that if a lot of people were watching the video embedded on a website, that might mean that the blog post where I made a spot for this video on my site could have been picked up in Google search. And so maybe a lot of views were happening there, but that is actually not where the traction is coming from. Although it could come from other places and end up on the YouTube watch page, that's still something we need to know, obviously. How are people watching this video? And let's just go deep on this. You can click on this area, but I'm just going to take you straight from the sidebar, traffic sources, because that's where I like to navigate. Obviously, in the last year, and this has been fairly true for the life of the video, there's a lot happening in suggested. What's really cool about suggested is it's
like being able to show up in search, but on accident. It's really cool because if you can't necessarily show up as the top results in search, and I actually believe this is one of the top videos in search. Actually, if you go ahead and search how to embed a YouTube video into PowerPoint, you can see that it is the number 3 search result. Or if it's not number 3 when you search for it, it might be somewhere in the neighborhood of that, but it's clearly getting some search play. But the most actual search traffic that it is getting is from suggested videos. I like looking at these resources here because this tells me something I may not even know about my own videos or opportunities that I could take advantage of from what I've done in the past. If we dig into suggested videos here, we actually get a list of videos that have referred my video to their audience. So even though somebody watched this video, how to embed a YouTube video into a PowerPoint, it seems as though, and sorry to this channel, if they didn't necessarily answer the question, either they didn't do it in total or it was not the right way to do it for someone, or whatever the case may be, somebody got here and they got bored and they couldn't find the answer and they saw my video as a resource, they are clicking away from this one to watch mine. So there's quite a bit of views, 4,000 just this year, that are coming from that video specifically. So here is that video that is sending me that traffic. Let's just click on it so I can give you an idea. It's playing, and what's happening is for some people, and it's not like, it looks like I'm not one of them, I'm showing up as one of the options in this sidebar that you could potentially click on if this isn't the video you want to watch. This is the stuff that YouTube is referring to people to watch as a suggested video once they've ended up here. So that's how that action is happening. So this is really interesting. Now for this particular video, not as interesting because a lot of these videos have the exact same name or very close. So you may not have any big ideas here. What you might see is names of channels. You can see all the names of channels here. This guy, somebody posted this video. These are really cool opportunities to go and check them out and potentially find out if they should be somebody that you want to collaborate with. Since PowerPoint isn't necessarily something that I talk about that much on this channel, actually, I don't even use PowerPoint anymore. These may not be the best for me for potential collaboration opportunities, but it's good to go and see what they're working on to see if they have any other great ideas that I could potentially use as well, or just see if maybe there is a collaboration opportunity that I'm not thinking of. Once I get to their channel, I can learn more about them. I also like to look at audience retention of videos because depending on how long it is and how much watch time is happening, we want to make sure that everything is sort of on track. Now, this video is definitely going to have some bouncing around with audience retention. And if you don't know what this is, obviously you can see the video starts to play because it wants you to see what's happening with the audience as it plays. And what this graph is indicating is how many people were still watching at any given point of a video. Now, this is not necessarily something you really want. Like this dip here is not great at the beginning of a video. This is not great, but it's a tutorial and it's being watched by many thousands of people. So this is much more likely to happen because somebody is going to want to skip to a point where they see PowerPoint show up in frame and go, okay, show me how to do this. But then still, if they're like, this isn't the right part, you can see where people start to skip around and look for the part where it actually shows them how to embed. People are going to skip here and there. It's typical in tutorials for that to happen. The goal is for it to not happen as much, but if it does, at least you know where it's happening. And you can learn a lot from these dips. I mean, obviously we saw that I took a little bit too long to get into this video. I didn't even open up PowerPoint until I was about a minute in. So that's where you got to get back to that authority video formula and say, okay, could I have dove into this content a lot faster? That being said, it's really not that long of a tutorial if you are really walking somebody through the entire process, starting at the beginning of a presentation, choosing a template, etc. So that's why I really like to look at retention. Were there things that you could fix, tighten up, and get people to stay? Because this 47% is not bad. bad. You want to be around 50% or so at the minimum for a lot of your stuff. But if you're in the avenue of 40, 50, 60%, you're doing really well in terms of keeping people interested in your videos. If you're getting between 20, 30% or even lower than that, you know that every minute of your videos has probably not counted for the viewers that you've had, and that's not good. You should always look at retention on an individual video basis, but it's also very useful to look at it from a channel overall. How are you performing across all of your videos in a period of time? So take a look at that on a per video basis, but also go back to that main dashboard, actually the main dashboard of analytics, and look at audience retention as an entire channel. Let's dig a little bit deeper into these traffic sources because there are a lot that are sending traffic, not just suggested videos. Let's take a look at external. What does it mean to get external search? Well, this is clearly a ranking in Google search. This video is performing really well if people are Googling it in addition to going to YouTube straight away to search for something. So that's the nice thing about Google and YouTube, is that they work together. And if a video is doing well in YouTube search, it just might get to the top of Google search, which is what has happened with this video. Now, YouTube search. This is important because you're on YouTube, so YouTube can tell you a lot about what's happening in their search platform, about how you ended up here. So seeing what the exact search terms are that people used and how many views you got out of that particular search term is really important, because there might be something here that wasn't necessarily related to the video, but they may have somehow ended up with it, and you might find yourself with another video idea. And this is probably going to be more pertinent in another example from this particular video, but always good to look at what are those things that real people, viewers, are typing into YouTube search. That's what we're trying to hack. So let's not recreate a lot of this work. Let's find out how people are finding us from search so we know if there's an opportunity to do something new. Okay, so getting into my second most popular video, which is probably going to overtake the #1 spot in the next at least maybe month or two. This one is a hot uptick, and it's kind of exciting because that YouTube PowerPoint video has been my #1 for a while. So it's exciting to sort of see some of my videos competing a little bit more in this space. This video is called Beginner Video Editing. That doesn't suck. This was a sponsored video that I did with Adobe Spark, and it basically introduced the tool to people who needed a beginning video editor, as you can see from the title. If you're looking at the watch time and the views here, you can see what happened. It definitely got some traction at the beginning, and we'll look at the traffic sources for that, but it's really cool because it was a brand new feature that they rolled out that day. So there's quite a bit of views happening here because people genuinely wanted to know what was going on. And so you can see there's a bit of a peak here right at the start, but then it levels off, as most things do, and began to pick up traction due to some traffic source. Let's find out what it was. Obviously, we know it was on YouTube. So let's figure it out. Actually, because I had the timing on this year, I published this video in December of 2016. So just because we're missing a little bit of data, just about 3 weeks of data, I'm going to pull this back and get all of it and really take a look at the entire picture for this video. Clearly, that spike was a much larger one. If we're looking at this data here, just in that release perfect word to use. The spike, that release spike shows that there were some other features that helped get some traction. Channel pages and browse features. Browse features is how people usually discover their subscriptions, and YouTube search and suggested videos. So there's definitely some traction outside of the norm here, but then as you can see, these little purple areas start to grow over time, and same with the red. So what happened there? Let's take a look. The purple is suggested videos. So if we dig into this, what are the suggested videos that helped this video start to take off? As you can see, it was very much linked to search terms that I was getting traffic, but I didn't necessarily have to show up as the best search result because there are some suggestions here that people found, and maybe they got the answer they wanted, but then they also wanted a little bit more if they saw my piece of content. They clicked on it. So this one being top 3 best free video editing software tools of 2017, something along those lines. It's cut off here. That's interesting to me because I don't have a video by that name. Maybe that's something that I could try to do sometime because look, clearly it's getting traffic because it's sending me traffic to something else. Obviously, free video editors is a trend here. So now we can see that mine was more specific to beginner video editors, but something specific to those same people might be free platforms, and having a video on that topic might be useful. I'm learning that through the metadata of a piece of content that already exists on my channel and the videos that are sending me traffic. So you can see how these results are a little bit more interesting than the other ones because they are more variety in terms of what they were called and why people may have found them. But because my video was suggested, I am getting some really fun ideas here. How to edit videos quickly and easily. What a great title. Just some really fun ideas to go, you know what? If people found this video useful based on what they saw in search, maybe there's some other ideas here that would be useful. So those are the suggested videos. Let's go back and look at YouTube search. Obviously some traffic coming from there as well. So we have video editing, video editor, video editing for beginners. Clearly, these are great terms to be showing up for in search. Like that's pretty mega to be showing up for video editing or video editor. And I'm getting a decent number of views. We've got 10,000 over the life of the video just from video editing and that search term. So this is always good. You should always know where people are coming from to your video, especially if it's a direct result of a search term. Knowing what you did right, video editing, clearly that was a prominent piece of my title here. It's good to know when you did something right and when you are leveraging tools in the right way in terms of how we talk about that word in the title, the description, and the tags so that we can have the best chance of having something like this happen. But take a look at those other search terms to get a better idea of how people ended up here. And there's 500 pages of this or 500 results. So if you want to really dig into it, you can. Browse features. This is where you're going to have people finding you if they're subscribed or if you ended up on the front page of YouTube. So that's the home page. We definitely got a lot of traction there. That could be because someone subscribed, or it could be because of what they're interested in, or the fact that they've watched you before and YouTube is trying to guess whether or not they want to have a longer relationship with you. They could be on the home page. Subscriptions, obviously, we've got some views from subscribers, but look at that. Wow. Like this video got 1,000 views from subscribers. And it has a lot more views than that. Like a lot. So knowing that, you should really be rethinking, oh, subscribers are the end all be all, because not for everyone. This video can still perform really, really well and not necessarily get a ton of traffic from subscribers. Subscribers are a great social proof number, but what is it actually doing for you? And I've definitely had much better views from subscribers on certain videos, but maybe it wasn't this one. Maybe this was a tailor-made video for people who don't know me yet versus people who do. So you just have to understand that there's a little bit of a variety there. Watch later views means somebody that put this video in their watch later playlist. They watched from there, watch history, going back to old videos, etc., etc. Apparently, I don't know what this is. That must have been me in my account. Okay, so we've got some other things here, channel pages, other YouTube features, external, but most of the views are from those top results there too. So those are the traffic sources. Now, if we go to audience retention, and this is another big one, we definitely have a pretty typical slope happening here, but people are watching the video and they're just getting into it and saying, okay, when are we going to get to the part about video editing? And maybe some people would have skipped to about this peak here. And you can see it's because I'm actually sitting at my computer and getting ready to talk about the content. So this one has much lower audience retention than I would like to see. I would much prefer this to be in the 40 to 50% range. But once you do hit a really large number of people watching a video because it's a search result and they're just trying to get the answer to their question, you may or may not end up with that typical number. Unfortunately, my other videos do much better, especially those that are made for my subscribers and the people who really want to watch me on a regular basis because they want to watch the whole thing and the experience. But sometimes in these search results, it doesn't always happen. The final video I'm going to go over is top 5 beginner tips for vlogging with a DSLR camera. So this was a really interesting one. And it's going to be fun to look at this because this was one that I made with a friend of mine who has a significant YouTube following, and that is Austin Evans from youtube.com/Austin Evans. So you can obviously see some really great opening traction with this video. As a matter of fact, let's go look at the first 28 days of this content. Clearly 10,000 views in the first 28 days, especially for me in 2013, was a lot of traffic. And so that was really exciting. And that's why we saw a spike if we're looking at the lifetime of the video. But we can also see that some things started happening in here and that it did start to gain a little bit more traction. That could have been that Austin was growing and this ended up being a referral to some people who were discovering him, or it might have been a referral for what the actual content was. So we should probably find out what that is, don't you think? So obviously we can see the lifetime of this video has been quite affected by YouTube search. So let's go there and see what has been happening with this. What are those terms and how is this video being discovered? This video is showing up very highly in search on YouTube for DSLR camera, DSLR cameras for beginners. And so this may or may not be a hit or miss video for some of those people because we do talk about vlogging specifically in this video. And so that may or may not be the type of tutorial that people are looking for, but lots of other things happening here. Best DSLR for video, vlogging camera, vlogging with DSLR. So definitely had a little bit of spot on traffic, but it might still be a good option for these people if they think they're looking for something a little bit more broad, like photography or video in general, and thought, oh, maybe I can vlog with this camera. They may have clicked on my video because it showed up in search. For suggested videos, these could be anything that obviously we talked about that could be sending some traffic to this video. So I love that this search result here is sending traffic to the video. This was a video I did on Austin's channel called Twitter versus Facebook versus Google+. We filmed this video at VidCon. So clearly that's showing up as a suggestion right next to it. It's referring traffic to itself as the second result. So that's always interesting. My camera equipment, what I use to vlog in the MacBook Pro 2013. Is it worth it? That's an Austin video. So maybe there's some metadata there that's making there comes some traffic from that particular video. That's probably pretty popular on his channel. Best DSLR lens for vlogging. So obviously we can see that there are some videos, whether they're exactly related or not, there's something happening with the watch activity and with the metadata that's making YouTube suggest this video next to these. And you just might get some new ideas for content based on what is sending your video some traffic. And so definitely I can see some things here that are working really well. Some of my own videos are sending traffic and some other people's videos as well.
So those are the analytics behind my top 3 most popular videos. Hopefully it gave you some insight as to why those did well and what I'm doing to plan for the future based on what those videos are telling me the people want. What do you want? I can look at analytics as a part of my journey in figuring that out. If this video was useful for you, I would love to see a big thumbs up. I know it was a little bit long and kind of intricate in the data and the numbers and a lot of us are creatives and we have no idea what's going on, but at least we have a better idea. Because if you don't hang out in your analytics, you are just not going to be that good of a YouTube creator. There's too much information there that could advance you so much further. So let me know if you liked it and leave a comment below if you had any new ideas for videos that I could make based on what we saw here. Maybe we could do this again and look at a couple of different things. That's all for today, socials. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, as always. Make sure you subscribe for good vibes. And don't forget that ever important detail of going after the life you want. Cheers!